Good evening. This is the September 12th special board meeting. Ms. Cannon, can you call the roll of attendance, please?
Certainly. So, Mr. Richards,
Here.
Ms. Higgins,
Here.
Mr. Cotton,
Here.
Ms. Hastings,
Here.
Mr. Parker,
Here.
Ms. Walsh,
Here.
Mr. Weinberg,
Here.
Ms. West,
Here.
and I am here. We are all here.
We have
It's been a while.
full board. Excellent. We got together tonight so we can discuss a contract with the tutors, CSD, CIT. And with that, let's get right to it. Superintendent, will you be presenting or will Mr. Dunn be
Mr.
presenting?
Dunn will do the honors.
So
Very
we
good.
presented this to the negotiations committee on Thursday. We posted this on Friday on the website. This is the fourth and final of the negotiations for 21-22. In this contract, we have a 3% increase to each of the base wage on the salary track. In year one, the track, which is what it is now, is for non-certified and then a track for certified tutors. In year two, there's going to be one track just called the tutor track, and that is on your second page. If you look in the 23,
I
24.
don't think the second page got passed around.
It's sitting with me. My fault. Got stuck with me.
Half of the room got to.
So I apologize.
It's okay. Oh yeah, there's a lot.
So in year two, that goes away, and everybody, whether they are certified or not, are all on the same track. And then in year three, it is just the tutor track, and that's it. We don't delineate it all. The new money in this, in all funds, including ESSER, totals about $410,000. Majority of that increase is in the ESSER funds. If a tutor is asked to substitute for a teacher, they'll be paid an additional $30 a day in addition to their regular wage. For personal days, which they get, they have to tell us that they're going to use that before June 1st. In order, if they're not going to use it before June 1st, to get paid for the day. And if it's after June 1st, they either use it or lose it. And then the district may contract them if we tell them by August 15th for 2 additional PD days. And we've also removed the hiring step, which right now caps out at step 5. So regardless of your years of experience, if it's 15 years, you couldn't go above a step 5. Now they'll be based on the scale, based on their experience. And then next year, they will be paid for actual hours worked based on a timekeeping system.
They're not paid for the hours they work now?
They are in bi-equal pays.
Say that again?
They're contracted for a number of hours, but it's 26 or 21 bi-equal pays.
Okay,
So that's the way they're paid now.
got it.
And then in
Doesn't always match
the,
the hour- So it doesn't always match the hours? Like it's like a salary kind of thing? So sometimes it doesn't. Got it.
so where it's really tracked is at the grants, but we need to track it all across the board.
Correct,
Because
yep.
you need time and effort.
Yep,
But it's
it.
really highlighted some of the differentiation between exempt and non-exempt employees, and we're working over the next year or two to try to get that all cleaned up.
got it.
That's gonna be tough, but we'll work on it. And then with the life insurance coverage, it used to reduce at age 65 to 67%. We've raised that to 70, and then at age 75 to 50%. It was a policy change that we did across all groups, so.
Jeff, could I just borrow that for a second?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
What's the rationale for combining them in the third year and not just the first? What are the first 2 initial years for?
Well, the first year is basically 3%, and we're keeping them separated. They'll have their bi-equal pays. And then year 2, it is everybody moves to the certified track. So those that are not certified will have a significant increase. There are 8 of those that are not certified. That means they don't have a 4-year degree or teaching certification. They just need, we will make it so that it's preferred that they have that for hiring going forward. So we grandfathered those, but going forward, our preference would be not to hire.
Was the process comfortable? Was it a good?
Yeah, it's a good group.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, they had 3 people, including their unit serve director, but yeah, they do a lot of hard work, and they work with a lot of kids, you know, trying to keep them wrapped up, you know, so we appreciate it, and no, a good group.
Jack, how many are in this group?
28.
Okay. And for this year, have we been able to hire for this group, or are we shortfalled on this group? What's our status?
This is still a very difficult group right now, you know, to find folks who will fill those positions as tutors. So we still have openings in that area.
How many do we know
Oh, boy,
approximately?
I believe there were 12.
Okay.
But, you know, it does change from day to day, so. But last count from Michelle was 12.
Hopefully it's getting smaller each day.
I hope that's the number smaller.
And Jack, this number is based on if we had all of them that we had wanted?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
this is including the positions you put in that, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. Other questions for either the superintendent or Mr. Dunn? Go ahead, Ms. Hastings.
Do we have something similar for other staff members that might get asked to substitute? Do they have additional pay added to their day?
Do you have an example of what
Reading
group?
specialists or,
I mean, last year there was an MOU to do that, to cover, but going forward, there is not.
okay.
Can I make a comment on that? That's a great question. The reason that differential is paid to some of the employees is because by doing that other job, that job is salaried at a higher rate, it's more than what they make, so we offset it with that increase. Think about that. Especially when it comes to our educational assistants who may fill in when we've
Right.
been strapped, right? And
their
so
day-
the
their
money
days-
that they get to be a substitute is greater than the
Than what
money
we
that
make.
they may have, not all,
May.
not all, but may. So we want to make sure that there's
It's a little bit more.
compensation for that. But in terms of what Jack just said, we did have an MOU last year with the Teachers Association relative to during a planning period, if they had a free period, not a free period, but a planning period, they did cover classes when we were really strapped. COVID numbers were high. But we have not renewed that MOA this year. I have had discussions with the union about it, and it was sort of a wait and see kind of thing, and to see what would
Hopefully it won't
happen.
be an issue.
I have my fingers crossed.
Right.
Okay, Ms. Hastings. Ms. Cannon.
How does that work backed up by or against the backdrop of actual hours worked? Because they wouldn't be doing the ESSER tutoring if they're going to be substitute teaching.
Right.
So,
Hence why we want to move to the actual one. 2, the time clock system has the ability to pick jobs, and then when they pick the job, it changes the rate. It's very similar to what we do with transportation, food service, custodial.
I just didn't
Yep.
want them to lose out on the time that they would be paid for tutoring because they're teaching and only
Right.
get the 30 because they're not getting the hours worked anymore.
Right. No.
No, it's in addition to their salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but they won't be on salary, they'll be on hours worked.
Yeah. No, right. I can see where it's confusing, but if they normally made $50 a day, but a sub makes $80 a day, they'll get the $80 instead of, yeah.
System's smart enough to do that.
That's a good thing.
It's good, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we wanted to use that year to get this in place.
What's that?
Good, thank you. Other questions or comments?
I'll move approval of the contract.
Okay, the motion is made to approve this contract by Ms. Walsh and seconded by Mr. Weinberg. Is there any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Are there any abstentions? The motion passes. Thank you very much. Superintendent, do we have anything else for this evening?
I'd like to ask that if we could have a non-public session for the
Okay.
purpose of RSA 91A3, Section 2A, purpose of compensation of employees.
Okay. Do I have a motion? And it was 91A3, Section 2A? Is
So
that what
moved.
you said? Moved by Ms. Higgins. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Hastings. This is, I believe, a roll call vote. Ms. Cannon, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Richards?
Aye.
Ms. Higgins?
Aye.
Mr. Cotton?
Aye.
Ms. Hastings?
Aye.
Mr. Parker?
Aye.
Ms. Walsh?
Aye.
Mr. Weinberg?
Aye.
Ms. West?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
All right. We are in non-public session. Are we moving to?